My name is Bill Somerville. I am the host of the Earning Per Call show. It is a show that has been launched by OfferVault TV, and today we have an absolutely amazing guest, probably my favorite guest that will ever be on this show. It is Melissa live from Ringba. Melissa, applause.
Thank you, thank you. I've arrived. That's my pageant wave.
What's going on, dude? How are things in California, right?
Yep, in Southern California, things are good. Can't complain. I mean, I went from living in a place where it rained all the time to where it never really rains ever anymore. And so it's been a really nice change.
I heard about that. I heard about your Canadian experience before we hit record and really got on the show. And now you're in sunny Southern California where it like never rains or does anything except for be beautiful all the time. Yeah. Let's go back. I want to talk about that growth. Okay. Seeing you guys all over the place, hearing more and more, even as I'm like working with people, I'm like, hey, we're using Ringba. They're like, hey, we're using Ringba. I'm like, great, this is going to be absolutely easy. We can use the same terminology, and you know, the systems can talk, you know, together. It's easy. You know, I think if one thing, you know, I could say is that you guys have made it incredibly easy for us. What do you think it is that's made the growth come to the company?
Well, I appreciate that. I think our growth has a lot to do with the people who's in Ringba, but not just on the employment side of things, but it's really the people in our communities, our clients, our associates, you know, people that we work with, people who we don't work with. We'll talk to everybody and anybody within pay-per-call, just because this is where our heart and our passion in performance advertising really lies. And I think a lot of our growth has stemmed from, it doesn't matter if you are working directly with somebody at Ringba using our platform or just, you know, part of our communities to learn. We want to connect people with others, and we want to educate, and we want to support and push the industry forward. And I think the industry is starting to pick up on that. And you know, people like to stick with others who are kind of pushing the status quo. And I think that really has contributed a lot to our growth.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I have a t-shirt. It's probably one of my favorite t-shirts, and what it says is the best way to get what you want in life is to help other people get what they want. It's a quote by an infamous sales guy named Zig Ziglar, who you may have heard of before. And I think, you know, you're helping people grow in the industry, which is like what we all want. We all want prosperity, and I think is a direct result of helping people achieve that next level. Like you're seeing, you know, the company grow, and I never had a doubt, just like meeting you, being introduced to you by Mr. Adler, and probably one of my best introductions in the entire industry of just like, hey, this person will help. And just remembering like when I first came in, they'd be like, I don't know what I'm doing right now. And you're like, it's no problem. We're going to put you in these groups and these people, and just tell people that, you know, like you don't know what the hell is going on right now, and they'll help. And I think it's, you know, like you're helping, and that attracts other people that want to help. You know, people that don't want to help or people that aren't helping, they're not going to be attracted to that, which is fine, you know.
Well, I think we've all been in this industry long enough, especially on the Ringba side. So everybody who works at Ringba comes from the ad tech background. So all of our people on our BD team, on our marketing team, we've all come from agencies, networks. Some of us owned our own agencies and networks. Some of us have been like executives at other buildings as well. And so I think we kind of take on that approach of what we would have loved when we were kind of starting out. What would we have loved when pay-per-call started back in like, I want to say like 2013, really 2012. You know, we weren't, when I was in that space or at that time, there wasn't a lot of communities or groups or education around technology, partnerships, you know, how to ramp up, things that may not revolve around a platform, but revolve around your call program. And I think that's really what we try to do here, is that you can't just elevate the industry without really trying to focus on the quality of the industry. And you can only do that if you're connecting with the right players, working with people who actually want to do good work in this industry. And then of course, anybody who gets into performance advertising wants to help in some way, whether you're an affiliate wanting to send traffic to an advertiser, or you're a network and you have a roster of advertisers who you're trying to get more leads to. The industry in itself is all about helping and passing on leads or information. And so it wouldn't make any sense to really grow without that core philosophy.
Yeah, and honestly, this kind of segues perfectly into our next question, which is, could you explain a little bit more about the Ringba culture besides Adam's great jackets and fashion sense and the margarita booths that we saw at the affiliate summit and the awesome parties? What's going on behind the scenes? Like, if we looked in the office, I know that a lot of you are interconnected, remotely, and it's the same with us over at Policy Bind. Like, we are connected remotely, but we have a virtual office, like a Zoom channel that's open all day long for us to see one another. And some of us wear cowboy hats or these hats. I have like a WWF wrestling belt that says Policy Bind Champion on it that that we have and mill around like that. It's good. It's a good, someone gets it, they hold the belt up, Can you tell me a little bit more about Ringba culture?
Yeah. Oh man. I've probably been asked that a lot of times, probably because I've always been one of the only females on the team for a very long time. And everybody always wants to know, how is that? Like, when you're always, traveling for conferences and, you're in a team full of dudes. I think to really explain our culture is to really explain our team. I've got the best team, hands down. Seriously, our culture is really quite simple. It's do a really damn good job and give a shit. It's super simple that way. You do it inside work, outside of work, whether it's personal, professional development, technical development, and our tech is amazing. Side note, it's all about, taking control of yourself and your business and your future. And I think that's really the culture at Ringba. And it goes top down, down up. Everybody that has come into Ringba, we've all had corporate experience in other places. We've had places that have really nice benefits and perks and beer on tap and games room. And I think those things are all fantastic and it's great. And we do have perks too, even though we're a remote company. But there are certain things that those things can't emulate. And I think it's the showing up, whether it's on an evening or a weekend, going into your account and needing help and then clicking onto live chat and knowing that there are engineers and developers ready to actually get you from A to B quickly. It's just the way we do things in life. It's just solve problems with as little resistance as possible, do a good job, and be happy. There's a lot of things that probably have happened to me personally over the last few years that a lot of women in tech or women in ad tech or even in corporate worlds experience that may be challenging. It could be like motherhood or becoming a mom, and people were thinking well, you're in a group of a bunch of guys, how could they even understand that? And I'm so glad that I'm going through really crazy but fun and challenging and amazingly accomplishing life milestones with this group of people behind me. And that's the culture. And I think when people are happy, it totally feeds off to our clients. And I don't know, I think they'd say the same.
Yeah, I would say this, one of the things that just blew my mind was the feedback that you guys crave about the system and how do we make it better. It's just a constant placeholder and everything that you've done. Tell us what do you want to see? What do you like now? What are we going to scrap? What it really was a design that I'm sure that you guys had put out, a product and then had built the product based upon specifications of of your users, which is awesome. I'm reading a book or an audiobook right now. When I'm in the gym, I always have like a book that I like to have like on tap, because who wants to be on the Stairmaster in silence? It's making it terrible even worse. So I'm listening to a book I probably should have listened to a while ago. It's called The Lean Startup. It's by a guy named Eric Ries. It talks about like Toyota and Toyota's whole mentality of just like there's a name for it, a Japanese name. It's called like Gemshi something, and what it translates into is like get out there.
Yeah.
Which you guys do a fantastic job of doing, like going to these conferences, talking to your clients and even your prospects on the phone of just like, what didn't you like about the experience with the employee? Why didn't you use our product? If you are using the product, what can we do to make it better? What can we do to keep things, keep you happy, with everything that we have, and what can we do to get rid of the junk? And it's just, it was funny, like when I was listening to that audiobook last night, I thought about this interview and I was like, man, I have to bring this up to them, because they've either, Adam probably listened to the book or read the book or something, because it was just like a page taken out, and it was a wonderful page. And then this morning what we did, and this is so ridiculous, is we put, in all of our email signatures, hey, win some free calls. We're doing a drawing every single month for your feedback. Like, please give us feedback. And I was like, I can't believe that we didn't have that in there. It's such a silly little thing that we didn't implement, that you guys are just begging for the feedback. And I just never what is different about Ringba than your competition? There are other people that are in your market space, right? And I think that what I just said is probably one of the things that's definitely different, but there's probably some other unique things on top of that makes you a much more attractive choice than some of the competitors. For us, it was ease of use, ease of signing up. I'll be straight up with you. That was it. I was like, I need something easy. And you came around, you're like, this is so easy. Look how easy it is.
Yeah. I would say everything is probably different. But no, really, a lot of the way we do things, it's not just about the technology that's different. The way we build the technology are being, we can support real-time bidding and dynamic routing and all that kind of stuff, and real ping tree. So yes, the technology is different, but I think when I say everything, I mean in terms of the philosophy and the way we do things. There's no like ticket system with support. You can hit up a rep, you can hit up your account manager, you can directly talk to an engineer on support. You can even call Adam and he would probably do like a share screen with you. We do things just completely as if like we owned your business. Like what we would want for somebody. And it's like, okay, well, let's not do broken telephone. Let's try to get to the solution efficiently and effectively, because if you're in the performance advertising space, I don't know about you, well, I'm pretty sure that you've experienced this, but for me, like when I was at a network and I would be managing campaigns and something wasn't happening, yes, I understand, there are times where things are out of your control, but just being responsive and being able to give that feedback or give that just, letting you know where things are at currently, or even just be able to, the way that we do things allows our clients, because the communication is so fluid, like you said, give that feedback, have that feedback loop. So things are always progressing forward. And I think that's really, what we do differently on the technical side, on the people side, showing up on evenings, weekends, our CEO is always on the trade show floor. He's in meetings, he'll show up on demos. There's really no ego when it comes to Ringba and our platform and the people here. And I think, if we're looking at apples to apples, it's very hard to really compare. But I'd always welcome anybody to kind of do their comparison, because I think, they'd be surprised in how the industry is developing and where us all are going in terms of pay-per-call, transparency, data, AI, predictive modeling, all of these things, I don't see a lot of our competitors really focusing a lot of their time on that. And so when it comes to, where we're going to be in 5 years from now, I'm pretty sure the landscape is going to be a little bit different, and only those that really are caring about the technology and caring about the users and the end users, advertisers, and the consumers, the ones that are actually initiating these calls and want to get connected to these advertisers. Those are the ones that are really going to be pushing forward. And so, yeah, I think, present and future and where we're going is really different than what our competitors are kind of focusing on.
I think it's a good answer. It's good. Let's talk about mistakes.
Yeah.
We make mistakes, right?
Oh man, we make a lot of them. That's how you learn.
That's it, right? What good experience is just the compilation of a bunch of poor experiences put together.
Right? Don't we call it tuition?
Yeah, something like, yes, I call it tuition. I didn't lose a lot of money today. I just paid my tuition. That's all.
Right? Exactly.
Mistakes by pay-per-call noobs is what I want to talk about. So new guys in the pay-per-call industry. So I think you sit kind of like in a unique seat. Like another thing that was super attractive to me about Ringba was the barrier of entry was super low. It's like, hey, we're not going to charge you big upfront free fees. We're not going to make it very difficult. Like, here's access to our platform. And I can still remember, like, at this time, the first time I saw your platform, my jaw dropped because I was working for another company that had internally built something. And I thought to myself, the only way to get access to something like that was to spend $1 million with a dev person and have it built out. And then when I saw what you guys were doing, it's like, oh my goodness, like, hold the phone. So you get to see a lot of new guys like hit the market and sign up for your platform. What is one of the biggest mistakes that you see from new people that are in the pay-per-call market?
Ooh, so I don't know. I don't know if you've gone through this course, but Adam did a free pay-per-call course a little while ago. And so with that, there was a huge influx of, lead gen affiliates, form submits, CPI guys or gals too, who wanted to transition into pay-per-call. And so everybody gets really excited. They want to run before they crawl. And the biggest mistakes that I see a lot of newbies do is they just don't do their checks and balances. There's a lot of moving pieces when it comes to pay-per-call. Making sure your tracking is in place, that's probably you should be your number one. Because if your tracking isn't in place, you could be spending a ton of money on ads and having no idea what the return on that is going to be. Also, you don't know how to manage your partners and your advertisers and things like that, and it's not going to be fluid. And once you kind of get into a sticky situation where you've got things going, you've got ads launched, you've got traffic coming in, and if all of those pieces aren't in place, you kind of start to stumble. I've seen a lot of newbies like launch ads when things they didn't test it, maybe typoed on a number. That happens, and not getting your IOs squared away. And so, so everybody wants to get a client really fast. They want to just set up a campaign and just hit the ground running, which is very simple to do. Like, you could set up a campaign in a couple of minutes, but take the additional few minutes just to make sure, like, your IO is in place and that you've gone into your platform and you've made sure your caps are in place and your filters and your, any of the restrictions and things like that. And so, and I think if you can do those things and then focus on your market, what vertical and what niche you really want to focus and be an expert in, start with something you like first. I think that would probably be the quickest way to success. And then make sure you check all your things.
Perfect. You kind of you answered my next question. Best advice for getting started. So start with something that you enjoy.
start with something that you enjoy, that you can kind of conceptualize, you know, the caller initiating a call, why they would want to call, and why are your targets, you know, or your advertisers, your clients, are in need of those types of leads. And then leverage, you know, technology. If you have data, if you're able to dynamically route calls based on, you know, certain points of data, like get granular and build value within your own program, and also network. I think, you know, in the pay-per-call side of the affiliate marketing industry, the affiliate performance advertising industry is big, but in the pay-per-call side of things, like we've kind of subbed community ourselves, and we all kind of know each other amongst this community. And I think if you're starting out, make friends, join our communities, come into our groups, join our Facebook groups, our forums, our LinkedIn groups, our Skype groups, connect with other people, learn, discuss your ideas, and things like that. And I think you'll start to realize, like, you know, kind of what we were talking about in the beginning, that people are willing to help. And if you're genuine about the quality that you want to build, the quality of the business that you want to build, people are going to want to talk to you and want to actually help you get there.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree to that for sure. What's one thing that you wish was different about our industry? You get to change one thing, not 100 or 5 or 4 or 2 or 4. One thing, that's it. Here's your wish.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. You know what? I've been in this industry for a long time. I actually got out of it for a little while, did some, you know, branding stuff on my own. And then I came back just because I feel like, you know, the industry in itself powers so many programs and inbound customer acquisition flows for so many businesses, not just big Fortune 500, but the SMB businesses. Like this, what we do powers a lot of business amongst, you know, our communities and our industries across, you know, multiple different verticals. And so, you've been in the space for a long time. There's the good, the bad, the ugly. I don't think I would change much. The thing that I love is I love that we specialize in pay-per-call. There's very little room for things to kind of be unsavory because, you know, everything is tracked. Everything is usually recorded, and it's quite transparent. And so I really love that about the call side and the call space that we're in. And I don't think there's much I would change. It's kind of, I like the Wild West, unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately. And I just, you know, I think our industry can be a little bit misunderstood, but there's definitely a ton of really good people.
Sure.
And so, yeah, I wouldn't change much.
Well, you know, the thing about change is that it's really the only constant, and the industry has changed from the 5 years that I've been in it. I've seen it go different routes. I've talked to people on the phone about the good old days, and like the good old days weren't like 15, 20 years ago. They were like 5 and 6, 7, 8 years ago, you know, it wasn't that long ago. But I would say one thing is that I don't think that I could have found a finer person to be introduced to, like, on this side of the industry than you and Adam and the Ringba team. Like, I come from a place, like I'm a New Jersey, New York guy, right? So it's like, if someone's too nice to me, I'm like, why are you being so nice to me? Like, what do you want? Like, someone's coming from my kidney, or what's going on here? This is very strange. I'm very apprehensive about it. And, you know, just after a while of being around certain people, you're just going to figure out that just like, they're just nice people, you know? And I think like being around nice people makes you a nicer person. It's a very contagious characteristic to have. And, you know, I want to thank you, among others, for, you know, being so kind to me, coming on the media side of it, coming from, you know, the biz dev sales side of selling a lot of calls and leads, then to coming to the back end side of it, the media side, and dealing with the affiliates, and just being like, oh my God, this is intense. It's a lot. And then you guys just being like, hey, you know, like it's not as different as you think it is. Like it's you have a background in this. Like let us show you some of this stuff, and you know, I'm hooked. I love it. And if somebody wants to get a hold of you specifically to ask you questions about the Ringba product, how do they go about doing that? What's the best way?
Well, I appreciate those nice words, but anybody can reach out to us. You can reach me personally at Melissa, Melissa, at ringba.com. Or if you ever want to reach our team in general, you can just do sales at ringba.com, and any of us would be happy to help.
Perfect. Melissa, thank you so much for giving me a piece of your time here on a Thursday. I know you're extremely busy. Again, thank you. Adam, I'm sure, is watching this. Thank you too, brother. And enjoy the rest of the weather out there in California, and we'll see you soon, all right?
Yes, thank you so much. I'll see you sooner than later.
All right.